Okay. Puoi chiedere alla gente di sedersi. Okay, thank you very much. We're ready to start again. Please take your seats. I hope you enjoyed some coffee and you're feeling energized to continue on our journey of ocean literacy in action. So, I was looking at all the great questions that were coming through the Slido earlier, and someone posted a very interesting comment saying, studies show that kids spend less time outdoors than prison inmates. And this makes it hard to build a connection and care from kids to the ocean. And I think this is precisely what we will discuss in the next session. So this is session 2 of our Ocean Literacy in Action event, Bringing the Ocean to the Classroom. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our guide for this session, Rada Pandeva, whom you've met already. So Rada, if you're here, yes you are. Welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, it's me again. Welcome to session 2, which is all about bringing the ocean to the classroom. We will discuss the best practices from teachers and educators in Europe and beyond as well, to do with bringing, as I said, the ocean to the classroom and just different practices in developing brew projects in the classroom, outside the classroom, but also in the communities, the local communities. We will also talk about the challenges practitioners in the field face and the ways forward. So not just the challenges, but the solutions as well. So without further ado, let me introduce the wonderful speakers, starting with Melita. Melita is a doctor of marine biology. She's also assistant professor at the University of Zadar in Croatia, where she teaches both undergraduate and graduate programs. Melita has been working with the MC, the European Marine Science Education Association, for many years, and she's also a leading voice in ocean literacy in the Mediterranean region. Anything I say for the speakers today will be very few words in the fantastic things they do, but they will be able to say more about their wonderful work. Next up is Francesca Santoro, the Ocean Literacy Senior Program Lead at UNESCO. So Francesca, I'm sure everybody have heard of Francesca. Such a pleasure. Francesca coordinates ocean education activities in formal and non-formal contexts, and is the coordinator of the newly established Ocean Decade Coordination Office on connecting people in the ocean. So we will talk about the connection between people in the ocean, but also, ocean literacy in those spaces as well. Next up, Ireni Pateraki. Ireni is working as a pedagogical and monitoring manager in European SchoolNet. So a different background, but like we discussed earlier, an interdisciplinary approach is very crucial in tackling challenges like ocean literacy. She holds a master's degree in multicultural education and has been a kindergarten teacher for several years in Greece. Next up is Rita Borges. Sorry about the little order. She's also a doctor of marine ecology and is the project manager at Oceano Azul. She's also the coordinator of a pioneering program developed in partnership with the Portuguese Education of Ministry. So very excited to hear about your work, Rita. Next up is Christian Esteva, who is also a young ocean advocate like myself and a geoscientist. He's also a secondary school teacher, I believe, and a manager for Sea Teach, and he's working on skills development and sustainability in Mallorca. So important job as well. And last but certainly not least, we have Fotigi Camara. He has been a teacher and an account manager in vocational education before starting as a senior consultant and leader for multiple organizations in HR services. But maybe most importantly, he is the Since August 2022, he has been the deputy mayor for the municipality of Den Helder in the Netherlands. And he's pushing for the blue curriculum and ocean literacy activities in the schools in his municipality. So wonderful, wonderful speakers that I'm very much looking forward to conversing with. Right. Yeah. So can we have the next slide, please? We will start with our first question, which is also to our wonderful audience as well, which is, in your experience, what are the best and most effective practices for incorporating the ocean in the classroom? Please share them. But I will give you a minute to think about it while our audience is responding as well, and we can touch on some of the answers that pop up. While we're waiting, would you like to take the stage?
Thank you. So from my experience in the last almost 10 years, what showed as a very effective thing was actually connecting classrooms, with teachers and students, with the research community, local researchers, NGOs, all different kind of ocean experts, which actually either come
So I'm working in the European Schoolnet, so actually we are organizing quite a lot of trainings for teachers. So I would agree that training the teachers is really important. And recently, like 10 days ago, we finished as part of the EU for Ocean project, a MOOC, so a massive online course where we had like 1,000 registrations. Out of them, around 700 people did some parts of the MOOC, and we had 333 that they finished and they got the certificate. And we had the evaluation, the pre-questionnaire, and after that the evaluation. And I was checking there, so it was really important that 70% of them joined because they wanted to learn about the topic. So this means that there is interest from the educational community. 60% want to improve their school practices. So this means that they are ready for this change. They are ready to take the initiative and do things related to ocean literacy. And 54% want to find useful resources. So this means that they are looking for information. So I think that this shows a lot. At the end of the course, we asked them, how did you find? I mean, it was a course about ocean literacy, but giving also pedagogical ideas of how to use project-based learning, on how to use open schooling in their classroom. And I think also the benefit is that we have teachers from Europe and beyond, teachers that they are ready also to collaborate online with each other. In the Facebook group we saw that there were people asking for Erasmus Plus partnerships, for retwinning partnerships. So it's really important that they want to connect with each other and do things together on ocean literacy. And we saw that actually 97% of them strongly agree they will use what they have learned to their work. And they feel more confident to implement ocean-related projects at school. And actually 92% of them are ready to apply to become a blue school. So I think the results are really interesting and impressive. At the same time, we have like the youth ambassadors, and it's really important. But also, like there was a discussion in Scientix, we have the Scientix ambassadors. So there are teachers who are quite experienced on STEM education, and they are responsible for the dissemination of our actions in their country at national level. So maybe another idea is that we create blue ambassadors that are teachers from pre-primary to upper secondary education in different countries, that they can help disseminating all the things that are happening. Because centrally we can achieve quite a lot, but I think that if we expand at national level and have the help and the support of teachers, this could also be quite important.
At Ocean Azul Foundation, we consider that we need to spark the knowledge and the attitudes and the competencies that Francesca was mentioning, as well as the emotional connection, very early in childhood. Because, as it was said, it will stay. And for this process, we consider that teachers are the major agents of change. So teachers need to be supported, they need to be prepared and supported in order to do so. So they need to receive training, certified training, educational materials that guide them on how to use this cross-cutting topic, as the ocean is, to the curricular frameworks. But as key as the teachers, as key as the training and the resources, is to engage the relevant political stakeholders. So in our model, we defined the pilot program. We consider that we need to test in a pilot phase before scaling and to evaluate. And in our model, we started by engaging with the Ministry of Education, so that the contents, the structure of the training for the teachers of the first cycle of education, we have focused our program in the primary schools. And in order to make sure that the contents and the structure was relevant for the curriculum of the first cycle, the existing curriculum, and also the local stakeholders in municipalities. We consider that this must be implemented in a very consistent way at the local level. So we implemented this pilot program in 8 municipalities since 2018, and we train the teachers so that they can include the ocean into the curriculum, and the municipalities to help bringing the kids to the beach and outside of schools, including inland municipality, not just coastal municipalities. And so, since 2018, we have already trained more than 1,300 teachers that are implementing the program in more than 200 schools. And the evaluation procedure shows that kids know more, and that they change their attitudes and positive action towards ocean conservation. And given these results, the Ministry of Education has created a working group to recommend how to scale up this program to all the Portuguese schools, the primary schools, and to really change, to include more ocean into the curriculum. And so this is seen at this moment as a program that started with a civil society organization that can change public educational policies. This is basically what we are doing.
Thank you very much. Just before Christian continues, I don't know if you managed to see, but a lot of people were talking about play, you know, the outdoors, just bringing the ocean to the people and bringing the people to the ocean. And that's really how through play, when you're a child, you know, that emotional connection, you really, I guess, bring it close to home. And it's fantastic to hear a lot of you talk about it. Christian and Fatigue, would you be able to?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Yes, so from our experience at CTeach, and from a teacher perspective, the first thing I think everybody needs to do is understand teachers, understand our needs, and also understand the world that we have and the requirements we have also from the school that we have to follow the curriculum and so on. And from there, support. There are many initiatives creating courses, materials, toolkits, but they're just presented to the teachers and off you go. So they need to know how they have to implement these materials and when do they have to do so. So I think this is very important. The second one, it's to bring the teachers and the students to the sea. Even me, that I'm from an island, the people in my island, they don't connect to the sea, and we have it all over the place. And then, once you bring them out, it's time to bring it in, no? And I saw in the slide, though, that a favorite practice was to do some hands-on activities in class, and this is how you can really motivate teachers and students. And last but not least, I think it's very important that we design interlinked activities. So all the work doesn't rely on the biology teacher, but it can be relied on the English teacher, the biology, geography, you name it. So this is what we're doing also in Mallorca right now, and it's working very effectively.
Fantastic.
Yes, hello, good morning, everybody. Great stories from the fellow panelists. I have also the honor to share some of the things that we have done in the municipality of Den Helder, where I can be the deputy mayor. In our DNA of Den Helder, we really have the sea. We are not connected by the sea by 4 sides, like an island, but by 3 sides. So we have the North Sea and the Waddenzee. So this means it's really in our DNA. And this has also led to J.P. Thijssen School to be the first certified blue school in Europe. And this was done in 2021 by Euro Commissioner Sinkevicius. And the last 3 years, the J.P. Thijssen School has done a great job because they have implemented 1 team a year in their school. And they have done it on different levels. So for instance, we have seen a video this morning of kids dancing. They have done that as well, but also kids singing a song, but also making art of waste that is found on the beach. So you can have different ways on how you can implement the ocean into the classroom. The things that the J.P. Thijssen School has done has led to other schools being enthusiastic about blue schools as well. So we have now our secondary education school, which name is Scholen aan Zee, and in English is Schools at Sea. So again, it's really in the DNA. And they are also certified, and they have done, for instance, with their students, they have attended a solar boat race competition where the students have built their own solar boat. And this has also led to another school, it's the vocational school, VONK, to become also a certified blue school. And what they have done, for instance, the students of that school have participated in a hackathon to find alternative ways on sustainable fishing. So really now we have 3 schools in Den Helder that are blue school, and also primary school, secondary school, vocational school. So it goes through on your educational career. Next to that, in Den Helder we also host the National Blue School Congress. And this is really a congress where we want to make teachers enthusiastic about the concept of blue schools. The first one was last year, and we have held it on the UN World Water Day, the 22nd of March. And the second National Congress is in 2 weeks. I know that last year some of you were already present, so feel free to join in 2 weeks as well if you have the time in your agenda. And again, during this Congress, it's really about interacting, sharing best practices, and making other teachers enthusiastic about the concept of blue schools. So to wrap it up, we have 3 advices for you if you want to bring the ocean into the school. The first one, adjust it according to the age of the kids. So make it really interesting for each age. The second one, make the teachers enthusiastic. Without the teachers, it's not possible to implement this, like also Christian already shared, but also the other panelists. And last but not least, also make sure that the schools work together in creating a good environment where blue schools have the surroundings. So this is from Den Helder.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And I wanted to touch on what Christian as well said in relation to your sentences as well. I always like to think as every person has a superpower. And that's why when you said bringing English into different subjects, you know, that we know in school, just bringing everybody in their unique superpower, they can all be brought into climate action. Everything is related, like the ocean is connected, everyone connects us all. So it's really beautiful to hear how people from different backgrounds and disciplines and everybody just comes together to protect the ocean. And it's very beautiful. And I just realized I didn't let you have your slides, but I will let you have your slides in a minute. Apologies for that. And maybe we could move to the second question on that topic. We talked about the wonderful work you're doing, but maybe it's worth mentioning the challenges. So could you share the most commonly faced challenges and the successful solutions you've encountered in overcoming them? And panelists would, not the panelists, you're the panelists, the audience would also be able to share as well. Melita, give you the word again.
There are a lot of challenges, but some of them that I see as really something important is the lack of marine topics in the formal education of teachers. So teachers, while they study to become teachers, they have, I'm not sure if any, education related to marine topics, whether it's natural science, social science, whatever related to marine environment. So I think adding this kind of topics as a form of subject during their formal education at the university level is really something that can actually improve and prepare them for their future work in schools, where they will teach their students about these topics. Because unless they learn about this during their formal education, they will very hardly provide this kind of education for their students. So at the University of Zadar, we managed to do that. So this is now the second year where we started with a course for primary school teachers that is related to ocean literacy. And through that course, students learn about ocean literacy, some different marine topics, and they need to organize and perform and implement a teaching activity in real classrooms. So it's kind of a combination of preparing them for their future work as a practical part, but also doing that through different marine topics. So I think it's really necessary to do that at that higher educational level. Another thing is the lack of, we talk about resources, but in many cases, these resources are not in our native languages. So in English, we can find all kinds of resources, but we need to remember that many of the teachers don't have the opportunity to use those resources in foreign languages. So I think really dedicating work to develop, translate whatever to do with the resources in native languages is really, really important, because otherwise teachers will have very much difficulties in using existing resources. That is one thing. And another thing, what Christian also said, teach them how to use those resources and in which ways. So there are a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities to solve those challenges, but I think missing that part in the formal education of teachers is really something that should be, that we should all work on. There was other things that I wanted to say, but I forgot now, so.
Well, indeed, there are many challenges. And I see funding is popping up in the Slido, but also time. And that's what I wanted to mention here, because and time constraints, I see that's another big topic there. There is a lot of competition for what we teach in school, but the hours that kids are in school are those ones. We cannot extend them to bring new topics. So that means that if we want to bring ocean per se is an additional topic which is in competition with many other topics that have to be taught in school, like education, emotional education. It's something that the country where I live now in Italy has been discussed a lot, because unfortunately today is International Women's Day. We still see a lot of violence against women, and therefore in Italy we are now advocating for the inclusion of this emotional education in school. This is just an example of sport and many other topics that let's say ocean would be in competition with. So the solution, of course, is what was just mentioned. We don't need to bring the ocean per se as an additional topic, but we can show that through the ocean we can talk about everything, basically. Because as you said, the ocean connects us all. As Jacques Cousteau was saying, the ocean is the great unifier. And indeed, if you start from an ocean topic, you can basically talk about everything, about history, about literature, about art, about, of course, biology and science, but that's not only, the hook we have to bring more ocean in the classroom. So I think, of course, what Melita said about, and that's what as UNESCO, we are advocating for, bringing the ocean in formal education. But, in every discussion I had with ministries or people working in ministries of education around the world, they all told me the same. We need to do climate change education and we need to do SDGs education. So I think the strategy and the solution, again, here is to show that through the ocean you can really, bring a lot of topic and somehow bring that as a solution for the policymakers in the education sector. So I think that's, at least from my initial discussion with the policymakers in the education sector, that is becoming to prove a successful strategy to overcome this challenge.
So actually it's like project-based learning in a way, because they work together on a project. And I want to touch on curriculum restraints, and this is something that came out from the MOOC that we did with teachers. So they say that ocean literacy is not part of their curriculum. So they have something many times related to biology, to environmental education. So for them it's really difficult because this needs to be done as something extra. Some of them said that also their books that they have at school, they have a very small part on ocean. So then it's up to them to know how to approach and what things they are going to do. Actually, what they were proposing was hands-on activities, so practical things with the kids, field trips in order to go out, as you already mentioned, and discover what ocean is about. At the same time, another thing that at least I haven't seen there, maybe it's with the small letters that I can't really read, is about the dissemination. So I think they need a bit of better dissemination of all the things that are happening. And in order to have that, you need to have the stakeholders coming together, because everybody is doing many, many different things. In some cases, we are actually doing the same thing. So it would be interesting that, we took all our powers, we go together, and in that way, we can offer more to the teachers. And I just wanted to share something we are doing in my organization. So we have this science discovery campaign every year. So what we do is actually we invite everybody, scientists, teachers, libraries, schools, universities, educators, youth clubs, stakeholders, to share what they have done related to STEM education. So it can be just a simple project, a simple activity, a scenario that they organize the workshop, they organize the training. So we have a platform there where they can, with a map, they can put all the things they have done. Now it's open actually until the 30th of April. So if you have done things on Ocean, I would really like to invite you to add them there. And of course, in the island upstairs, Ivana, my colleague, can show you more about that. But I think that we really need to come together in order to have better results and to offer more to the teachers and the students.
Thank you so much. Shall we go on the next slide as well? We have seen what the challenges could be, but it would be nice to have a little bit of hope and positivity on the other slide. And please feel free to share as well.
Of course, I agree with all that was already said, starting with the need of the initial training of teachers for the ocean topics, as well as the need to guide them on how to use the resources. This is actually something that the teachers most value, and sometimes even more than the handbook that with all the contents that the teacher receive is it's just one single page, like a matrix that guides them with which practical activities they can implement when they are teaching mathematics or Portuguese or science of the first year or the second year. So it's guiding them on how to use the topics when they are working the curriculum that they need to work. Of course, the textbooks is also another front that we need to put forward. They need to talk more about the ocean. And as it was said here as well, even when the training is considered as very adequate, it cannot be seen as an extra burden for the teachers. This is why we need to guide them very well. And the funding is, of course, very important. We try to estimate how much it would cost to transport the kids outside of schools when scaling up our program to the entire country, and it was crazy. So for this, we need this collaboration with local authorities, with municipalities that help bringing the kids outside of school, because we want an open school with a strong connection with Blue Spaces. And so all these are, of course, relevant barriers that we need to overcome.
I wanted to plug in a quote that I really like to mention in such conversations. It's by Nemonte Nemkimo. She's a Waorani leader from the Ecuadorian region of the Amazon. And she said, the less you know about something, the less value it has to you, and the easier it is to destroy. And that's all I'm getting, of course, from your points, because we really need to talk to the hearts of people, really, because the ocean is love. And that's what Thalassophile means, by the way, a lover of the seas and ocean. So it's all about love and really bringing it all together. Please, Christian.
Yeah, so on challenges, well, we had the task of certifying 100 schools as Blue schools. So there's a challenge already. But yeah, we found many, many challenges, starting from what is a Blue school and what is the commitment of a Blue school. Do I have to do more work? Do I have to write a report at the end of the year? So yeah, as I was saying before, we need to understand teachers, and their workload. So that was our task, So following this bottom-up approach where you can inform them, visiting the school, calling them, and communicating in a more personal way. That really worked on us. Then, yeah, time, as I was saying, funding was also important because, okay, we live on an island, but students that live in the center of the island, they need transport to reach the ocean, let's say. And also, we found that the teachers that were interested in joining the EU Blue Schools Network, for example, were the English teachers. So they don't really have the knowledge about the ocean. So what we did is we designed a model where in every project we involved different stakeholders, and this is related to what you were saying before. So we invited a company who could pay maybe for the transport, an NGO who could provide the training to the English teachers that don't have the knowledge about biodiversity or about the ocean. The city council as well, who can provide visibility, and we also try to bring media in to create an impact, not only in the school, but in the community. And this is the model we developed.
Especially in this day and time, you know, social media and media in general is a very quick way to spread the message.
Yes, we have seen many challenges on the slide, time constraints, but also money constraints, so they all also count for us in Den Helder. But what we have also seen is that in the Netherlands, the national and the regional ministries, they are only responsible for testing the quality of the education. And the local municipality is only responsible for housing. So we cannot influence the curriculum from a political stand of view. So it's really important to find a connection with the schools, and you are also dependent of the teachers and their willingness to implement it. So the 3 schools that I just mentioned, the teachers, they did everything in their spare time. So from my side, really a big shout out to all the teachers that are working really hard to implement and bringing the school, the seed to the school. On the other hand, another constraint that we have seen is really money. So how can you encounter that? So what we have done to encounter those 2 challenges is that we have worked together with volunteers, and volunteers on different levels. So for instance, parents that support the schools in creating decoration, but also marine organizations that were willing to send professionals to the schools for free, so without a fee, and also commercial organizations that were willing to open their doors for the schools. And it's really amazing to see how far you can come without budget, but with a great idea. On the other hand, to really tackle the issue on funding, we have created a program in Den Helder, which is called Helder's Perspectief, so Helder's Perspective. And the aim of this perspective and this program is to make Den Helder a great place to live, to work, to learn, and to recreate. And the funding of this program is from the municipality, but also from our social housing organization and from the Royal Dutch Navy, which has Den Helder as a home base for over 100 years. So with this program, we are able to fund particular projects of Blue School where funding is needed. And it's not necessary to only focus on the biology part, which is also shared by the panelists. So for instance, what students have done last year is that they have translated a Dutch book about the history of Den Helder into English. And as I have shared, the sea is really in the DNA of Den Helder. So looking at the history, the sea has a major part in it. So those are things that we do to overcome the challenges.
Absolutely, exchange of knowledge, like you said. We have a lot of resources in English, but not so much in the people's native languages. But then on the other hand, it's a very, very, very crucial and important to do that cross knowledge sharing and so on. Would we be able to go back to the previous slide, because we had a lot of great remarks that were also mentioned by our panelists to do with field work and just bringing people, like we said in the beginning, to the ocean. Is that possible? Technical team? It's okay if not. It'll probably show up at some point. But without further ado, shall I ask you the last question, so then we can give the floor to the audience to give us more questions. There it is. Collaboration, training opportunities. I mean, you talked about funding. I talked about funding earlier as well, because it's such a crucial stepping stone, like I mentioned. But yes, people can see multidisciplinarity and again, cross-sharing, yes, from the heart. It's important. Question number 3. How can you support the network of European Blue Schools in its mission? And what exciting updates do you have? Some of you already mentioned it, but of course, we like to wrap up on a message of hope. So, Melita, you again. There you go.
A lot of things going on. So there's really like for instance, in my case for Croatia, a great opportunity coming up through the Blue Lights project. Croatia will be one of the experimentational countries where we will try to do many different things to improve ocean literacy, to implement it in the education, and to support the network of Blue Schools. One of the things that I see also that was mentioned before, this whole Blue Education initiatives comes from marine science sector. from marine science field, because we know how much important that is. So I think one of the important things is connecting with the educational system and really having the support of the educational system to do that. So also through this project we will try to, and we already have the support of the National Teaching Agency, to promote ocean literacy, to promote blue education, to organize teacher trainings and all kinds of different wonderful things that we will do through the project. But I really think this connection with educational ministries are really, really crucial to really be successful, in this blue education. So through this project, but also other projects, we will support the network by supporting teachers with their blue projects, giving them opportunities for collaboration, and I already received some of the invitations to participate in other projects, calls as well, for schools to become blue schools. So it's really something that teachers are getting and responding, and it seems like it's really increasing the interest of teachers to become a blue school is really increasing in all of the countries, I think. Here's the slide. Should I say something about the slide? Okay. Yeah, okay, I think that's it.
Yeah, indeed, there are a lot of things happening, and I think this is such an interesting time for the ocean, as the ocean has never been so central in the international agenda, and with BBNJ Treaty and with so many things happening that we have been dreaming about for years. So I think, now that's a big opportunity, and from my perspective as belonging to an intergovernmental organization, what I can do to support the Blue School mission is to make sure that this is known everywhere internationally and at the governmental level. So that's something that, as I mentioned before, we started in 2022, and last year we also had the big support of the UN Special Envoy for the Ocean, Ambassador Thompson, who is such a big ocean literacy advocate. And again, through that I saw that we could really trigger the interest of policymakers, educational policymakers. And so I think is really crucial that we work top-down, bottom-up. And of course, again, what I said, what I can bring and we can bring as UNESCO is this more like top-down or intergovernmental approach. And that's what we are going to do from now till the next UN Ocean Conference in Nice in June 2025. We are in discussion with the French government, we are in discussion with the Costa Rican government to have finally ocean literacy central in the next UN Ocean Conference. We don't want yet another side event. We want ocean literacy part of the main negotiation, and that's my main commitment from now till June 2025.
Well, Melita already mentioned so that we are working now on the framework experimentation as part of the Blue Lights that we're going to lead with all the countries that they're participating. At the same time now, as I said, for me professional development is quite important for the teachers, and we try to offer different kind of professional development because, as you said, some people have the time, some people have less time. So we are at the moment running the SPOUSE, which are a science project online workshops. We start last Monday with a webinar with experts, and we have 2 more Mondays where teachers are going to be split in groups of age categories in order to get training on activities and ideas that they can do from pre-primary, primary, and secondary, upper secondary education. So 3 strands of workshop for the next 2 Mondays. And at the same time, we're also working on a report on recommendations that is going to be shared with the Ministries of Education that we are collaborating in the European Schoolnet. So I think that, it's really important to have the stakeholders, to have the ministries, to have the teachers, and if we manage to have all of them with us, then we can reach out students and we can offer them, and they can understand what is important for them, and how they can be like citizens in the future, adults in the future, that they can really join ocean as they deserve to.
Thank you.
I agree that we need to combine a bottom-up approach with a top-down approach. In a bottom-up process, we can by now challenge the more than 200 schools with our program to become blue schools. Actually, this is part of the recommendations in the working group that I mentioned with the Portuguese network, but of course it can be extended to the European network. At the same time, Oceano Azul has a strong action in ocean international advocacy. So like Francesca, that has been doing a great work, we also can try to influence. Our program is ready to be replicated with the adjustments that already received. We can influence to see if other countries also work into bringing more ocean into the curriculum. Recently, we also had the chance of participating in a United Nations high-level panel for the teaching profession, in which it could be possible to include a recommendation on the need to include the ocean into the curricula and to well prepare the teachers and give them good resources. So if more countries adopt these measures, more opportunities will come and more funding for blue schools and reinforcement of these networks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so at CTeach, every time we apply for a project, it has to have a meaning for us, and we like to make an impact always in our land, in our Balearic Islands, let's say. So when the project finished, We Are Blue Schools, we created an NGO called Blue Schools Cluster, so we can continue to provide activities and blue education to our schools. We cannot leave them alone now, no? And yeah, we're very happy because we already had 2 collaborations with the research center and with a company that it will provide funding to the schools. And very happy as well that because last week we had a meeting with our Balearic government, with DG Education, because now that we've done this work by following this bottom-up approach, it's time to go top-down. And yeah, they're very willing to help us. And yeah, also very happy that other regions of Spain are copying our approach. And so we have replications now in the Canary Islands, and Murcia, and in Madrid. Yeah, we're also part of the Blue Lights project, and we will be experimenting with our schools in Spain. So yeah, this is the work we will continue to do.
Beautiful. Collaboration is key. And I always imagine education as a round table. Like I said earlier, you need everybody at the table, from bottom up, top down, and so on. So yeah, very, very important. Stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. Of course, we will continue with what we are already doing. So we will continue motivating other schools to become a blue school, not only in our municipality, but also in other regions. Next to that, we will also continue by facilitating national blue school congresses, not only in our own municipality, but we will also motivate other regions to do the same. Because this is not only a venue where you can motivate schools to become a blue school, but you can also train teachers in how to implement it from different angles. But the most exciting and new thing, and also the reason why I'm here in Brussels this week, was to pitch the idea of becoming a blue school municipality. And the aim of becoming a blue school municipality is to raise the awareness of ocean literacy, but also to create and to activate a new generation that is in love with the sea. And we have received positive reactions from DG Mare and from MC. So this is really motivating to go further with the technical discussions. And we will be also present during the EMDs in Svendborg, and we will then report to you what progress we have made. And also feel free to come to our stand in Svendborg, because we will be there present with more than 25 teachers that are willing to share their experiences and everything that I have also shared today. So this is what we will do.
Beautiful, thank you. Let's hope we envision the future of every municipality in the world being a blue municipality, and every school, hopefully, becomes a blue school. I believe it will. Keep doing the amazing work that you do, and thank you for your work. It's very important. And to the audience, thank you for listening and for your questions and for your input. And please keep the conversation about ocean literacy going as well. As I said, and I will say again, and I will keep saying, we need everybody, we need everybody's input, everybody's ideas. So we're all in this together, and thank you. Do we have questions from the public for our speakers? I'm not sure. No worries. No, don't run away. I believe there would be a lot of questions because you said such interesting things.
I actually am wondering if we can give the floor to somebody in the audience really quick. I know
Fantastic.
there is a microphone going around. Yes, please, sir.
Thank you, moderator. I'm Mr. Baruti, an academic involved in the shipping and maritime business, as well maritime spatial planning. Madame Francesca, you are organizing the UN Decades conference next April in Barcelona, and you circulated a 0 draft of 10 challenges for people who were planning to participate in the conference. And I addressed the challenge 6 over the school and ocean in the classroom, not only for people living in the coastal zone, but for also children to know since the beginning and the nature of hazardous waste that they can find in the ocean and prevent the police and prevent the authorities. I addressed that issue, that it was very important, and to include media in the process. Now with the media of YouTube and so on, we see advances, but we can also include the advances for the ocean protection in the media. That is my comment. It's not a question, but a comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the work done by the working groups on the different white papers on the challenges of the ocean decade was excellent overall, but the work done on Challenge 10, well, maybe I'm biased. It was great, and one of the things that came out from the work of this working groups on the challenges was that the drivers for changing humanity's relationship with the ocean is education, but is also strategic communication that was mentioned by Charlina this morning. So I think bringing more the media and the journalists is something that we absolutely have to do. And we also did some ocean literacy trainings for the journalists, and they were really, really successful because we need to partner, as it was said, with everyone, but in a strategic manner so that we bring the same messages through different channels.
Thank you very much, Francesca, and thank you, sir, for your question. One last question that came through the Slido, actually, and we heard a lot about the European Blue Schools, and thank you very much to the panelists for sharing your examples about this, is what does it actually entail to become a European Blue Schools? And we've heard a little bit about it, actually, but we do have the coordinator of the European Blue Schools segment of the U4Ocean Coalition here with us, Evie Kopejans. So I was wondering if Evie would like to say a couple of words about what does it entail to become a European Blue School. There's a microphone coming to you, Evie. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I'll stand up, I guess.
Yes.
Turn around. So becoming a Blue School is actually quite easy. Once you have an ocean project running in your school, you can apply at the website of the Maritime Forum, and we will come back to you and say, yes, you are eligible to become a Blue School, and then you're incorporated in the network for a lifetime. If you don't have a project, an ocean project, I recommend to follow the MOOC to become a Blue School. It's a short online course, a couple hours, and you know what to do. And there's a lot of courses, of course, available elsewhere that we will link to if you want to learn more about certain ocean topics. So that's it. Easy.
Thank you very much, Evie. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rada, for moderating this very interesting discussion. So, next up, can I have a show of hands of how many people have visited the Ocean Literacy Island already? Yeah? Okay, that's fantastic. All right. A couple of hands. But for those who haven't already, I am very happy to welcome our next pitch presentation. If we have Natalie here, yes. So please welcome Natalie van Isseker from Umonet and Seascape Belgium for a second pitch presentation from the Ocean Literacy Island. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you, Lavina. So this was indeed a very, very interesting discussion, and I invite you all to go to the Ocean Literacy Island, where you can actually see some of this creativity that we've heard about. It's actually really amazing and very inspiring. So if you're looking for ideas and just like, well, how creative are they? You will be very surprised if you haven't seen it. So we have a teacher's corner, we have a school's corner in the exhibition that I really invite you to visit. Not only to see what schools are doing, but also what educational projects are being done, what resources are available, and what tools are available. You've heard this morning also about the European Atlas of the Seas. I will come back to that. I will also be giving a demonstration of this so you can see how it works. And very good news, it's available in 24 languages. So those teachers who are looking for educational resource in different language, in their mother language, can do that with the Atlas. Of course, we have also the other areas in the exhibition. You have the research areas where you can really understand what people are working on, what the scientific projects enable us to learn about the ocean. You have the port area and blue economy, where you can discuss blue skills. You can learn about the European boating industry, what they're doing, and also have a discussion with some of the speakers you've heard this morning. We also have the town hall, where you'll be able to directly speak to some of the young ocean advocates that you've also heard this morning, and visit the UNESCO Ocean and Climate Village. So very interesting to connect to the ocean. And last but not least, make sure that you stop by the marketplace. This is where we can explain how you can join the 3 communities if you're not yet a member. And as Evie was saying, it's very easy to become a member, and we really welcome you so we can discuss this directly with you. We also have a special call from the Young Ocean advocates and the Youth for Ocean Forum. They are looking for mentors. And I see a room full of mentors here. So we need help. If you are interested in becoming a mentor, you can go to the marketplace and they will explain what this entails and how you can become a mentor. And for having spoken to many young ocean advocates, you will see that yourself will learn a lot by working with young ocean advocates. Just a word about the Atlas to finish, if we can have the next slide, to say that actually whatever area you will have visited in the exhibition, you will see that you have also an interest in the European Atlas of the Seas. The European Atlas of the Seas is an interactive learning tool from the European Commission, powered by the European Marine Observation and Data Network. And we have over 270 map layers that you can combine in any way that you want to create your own map and learn about the ocean, seas, and coast. You can do that in the 24 languages, and it's very easy to use. We have done workshops with students of pupils of 10 years old, and you see that it's very intuitive. They are able to very quickly use it. We also have a teacher's corner where we provide educational tools for teachers that are map-based exercises, but also games. So you might actually want to try those yourselves. We have a geocaching game, we have a treasure hunt, and all sorts of other games. Every week, we publish the map of the week. So we select one map layer or a combination of map layers, and we put that forward and put it in connection to something that is happening that week in the ocean world. And of course, this week, it's EU for Ocean. So I invite you to visit the Ocean Literacy Island. you can have lunch and then go to the island and have lunch. Weather's all clear, the tide's just right, so we all invite you to the Ocean Literacy Island. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Thank you very much. I can only echo what you said. This sounds super interesting, and I'm very excited to go visit the island myself during the lunch break. It is now time for it, so I release you. Please enjoy your lunch, enjoy discussing with the many inhabitants of the Ocean Literacy Island, and I will see you back here in 1 hour. Thank you very much.